Hi guys, how are you doing? And welcome to a new income report video where I share how much I made on Amazon selling low and medium content books in June 2024. I will also go over my ad spend and explain why my ads were a bit of a disaster this month, as well as discuss my publishing goals for next month and also how I did publishing in June. So if you're interested in any of that stuff, then let's get started. So, how was June on KDP? Last month, I set a goal of publishing 5 books, and I almost didn't actually achieve that. The last 2 books were submitted literally after 11 p.m. on June the 30th. So, yeah, I almost didn't publish them. But surprisingly, they were published really quickly as well. They were live within 24 hours. And I definitely want to set a publishing goal again. I think that really helped. However, the goal for this month is going to be 3 books because I'm actually going away. I'm going abroad towards the end of the month, and so I'll be taking a week or so off. And also the next books are not particularly going to be that quick to make, so I feel that 3 books is achievable for me personally, and if I do go over that, then great. But the success of my most recently published books has not been very good so far, but I have seen that dramatically turn around before, so I haven't lost hope with them yet, and some of them I'm working on, which I'll talk about in a second. For those of you who are new here, just a bit of background, I do have nearly 600 books live on Amazon, and most of those are low content, with some of them being medium content type books like activity books. And I've been on KDP since the end of 2019, so several years at this point. I definitely didn't spend this much on advertising in the beginning, just in case you were wondering. So my ad spend in June went up because I was trying to advertise for all of the new books that I published this month and last month. So a couple of books actually made 0 sales whatsoever, and I paused all the ads for that. My ACOS in the UK is 38%, which might not seem that much, but that's just taken up purely because of these new books that I was advertising. And also in the US I was advertising, and the ACOS was 41%. Again, all of that being down to the new books that I was advertising. I didn't advertise in Canada or in Australia. A couple of the ads were not performing at all. I actually made 0 sales. So I decided to pause those and actually improve them and improve the covers. Also, I did have some other ads that had quite a high ACOS, a very high ACOS, but they were making sales. But even so, I had made a few sales with those, and I decided to pause them and just see if I got any reviews or any extra traction. So now that I've paused those ads, those books are actually continuing to make organic sales without the ad. And that's a good sign, because hopefully I will then get some reviews, and once I get those, I'll start the ads back up again. This is why I like to run ads to brand new books, because even though I frequently don't keep those ads running, it just seems to give the books that initial boost in the algorithm so that I can then get organic sales. And then down the line, once I get the reviews, that's when I put the books back on again. Again, I don't necessarily keep them on in the long term. It all depends how the ad performs for me. But that's just something that I do personally. It's not something that I learned from anyone. I don't necessarily know if it's a good tactic. It's just something that I do. Oh, also, the USA ad spend was high this month because a ad I've been running for several years has just stopped converting recently. I keep trying to tweak things, but the ACOS is still high at the moment. So the total I spent on advertising this month was approximately £689 or $876 US dollars. So now I'll just share my royalties for the month of June. So this month I made $6,380 in royalties before expenses, but that is over $1,000 less than the previous year, and even more when you consider my ad spend, because my ad spend this year was several $100s higher than it was last year. The highest day I had in June was $440, and the lowest day was $130. But I did have a lot of days between $100 and $200, and this was the previous year in June. So that year I made $7,300, and as you can see, there were some higher days there as well. The lowest day I had was $102. So yeah, it definitely does seem to be a trend this year that my royalties have gone down for most of the months so far this year. And I'm not too surprised by this. I think it's a combination of the royalty amount going down in general, combined with just more competition. So you can't rely on things staying the same all of the time. Also, I haven't continuously uploaded lots of new books in the last couple of years. So that is something that I'm working on much more this year. So in total, after my tools and advertising costs, my profit for June comes to around $5,267. July is typically one of my lowest months, and so I am anticipating it's going to be lower than this. And I would guess that July, August, and perhaps even September could be lower than this month in June. But then again, maybe it'll be different this year. You can't always make assumptions like this when it comes to KDP. You can quite often be surprised. So let me know in the comments how June was for you, and let me know if you have any publishing goals now for July and whether you achieved yours for June, if you had any publishing goals, how many books you published or what type of book you're interested in publishing. And whatever you're aspiring to do, I wish you the best of luck. As always, if you have any questions at all, please let me know in the comments. I do read all of my comments and I try my best to reply to them all too. So have a great rest of your week, and I will speak to you again very soon.